Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And we have another little intriguing tale of woe with regards to the whole Tulip Siddiq case. Every day there's something new. Every day it gets worse for all those concerned. Now, we know that Starmer has got very close relations with Tulip Siddiq, with her aunt, with the extended family, and with the Awami League, which is the political party that this is all sort of connected around. But it's getting worse for him because he's been in contact with members of the Awami League, subsequent to all of this stuff coming out. So he's known about the investigation, he's known about the alleged corruption, and still he's hanging around, trying to ingratiate himself into this group, presumably because he wants his cut of the many, many tens of billions of pounds that they have embezzled, I think, from the Bangladeshi people. Now, of course, he met with the General Secretary of the Awami League, a man called, and I'll have to read this because it's a complex name, as these people often have, Anwaruzaman Chowdhury. I don't know if that's the pronunciation that's correct, but I don't care. The two were actually filmed speaking at a very cordial event just a month ago. And Chowdhury said on his social media that they spoke about the current situation of Bangladesh. The current situation, of course, being how deeply in trouble they were and entrenched and mired in corruption, embezzlement, fraud, and how they didn't like the fact that they were being investigated and they felt that it was being particularly directed at the aunt there because she happened to be the previous dictator of the country. They really are off their minds. You know, they think they think they're the victims here after stealing all that money. And of course, it's expanded and it's now looking at assets and savings and people in the UK, including, they were interested also in Starmer himself. They're all under a very close scrutiny, as we know, for the various possession of various properties gifted to each other and around in an attempt to hide ownership. Now, Chowdhury, it's been revealed, is only in Britain because he fled Bangladesh after the fall of the aunt's sort of despotic regime, last helicopter out of Hanoi kind of thing. He's got apparently a very extensive history of Bangladeshi shenanigans, shall we say. He's connected to human rights abuses, including relation to the death of people. He's been named in a murder case relating to the death of 7 people over explosive charges. And there was the murder of a student that has yet to be cleared up, which seems to link to Chowdhury. He's also been named in a case relating to vandalism and looting. And all of these relate to protests in Bangladesh over the summer over this Hassana's regime. The Prime Minister was asked about these things and there was no response. Kindly move on, you know. And there is no doubt, of course, obviously, with Chowdhury being a very close ally of Hassana, who is the aunt for Tulip Siddiq. He's been photographed with all the family members and that many, many, many times. And after Starmer met Chowdhury, he was asked, why are you meeting with this person? And, you know, he said, well, we meet with lots of people. Now, obviously, with everything that's going on, you'd think Starmer's advisors would advise better. They would say, distance, move away, disassociate, don't embed yourself further into the machinations of this obviously corrupt family. But apparently he didn't get the message. Odd. Siddiq herself said, had it not been for your help, I would not now be standing as a British MP. And she was talking about Chowdhury. Chowdhury pushed her to become a British MP. She then pushed Starmer into becoming an MP. It's all inextricably linked, and it all inextricably stinks. It stinks so badly, doesn't it? Now, she herself, I've got another story about her. I'm going to be coming to it, but she herself obviously is under investigation now by the independent advisor on parliamentary standards. However, and I've mentioned this before, the conditions of the investigation are so rigidly tight that it'll be impossible to say she's guilty because of the conditions they've imposed on it. And thus they can then later say, oh, but we had an investigation, everything was fine, But it's bullshit. It's an absolute bullshit, whitewash, cover-up investigation. Even the investigator, Laurie Magnus, he is saying that the conditions imposed are too tight to allow him to give a full answer. Now, you think as an independent, he would not be conditioned by the Prime Minister, but apparently independence has a completely different meaning in Parliament. Now, Downing Street aren't calling this a full inquiry, they're calling it a fact-finding exercise. Well, no, let's throw away the fact-finding exercise, because the fact-finding exercise is only to see whether it deserves a full investigation. So let's get rid of that and just have the full investigation and be gone. If she's got nothing to hide, she's got nothing to worry about. If Keir Starmer is so confident in her, he's got nothing to worry about. I'm sure there's nothing there. I'm sure that there's no links at all between Tulip and her aunt's theft of 13 billion and Keir Starmer's constant kissing the ring to the family in the hope of getting some grace and favour or something. But of course, that's not going to happen. Now, the very close nature of his relationship with Tulip Siddiq, with the Islamic League, with the whole extended family, has to be investigated. So, you can't trust anything Starmer says. He's a liar. We know he's a liar. He's an outright barefaced liar who looks down the camera lens at everyone and goes, I'm not going to do that, and then does it. Or I am definitely going to do that, and then doesn't. I'm definitely going to look after the waspy women, and then hangs them out to dry, So man's a liar, right? So you can't believe anything he says. Now, the advisor, whoever's advising Starmer, arsehole. You don't. To be fair, you don't know if the advisor is an arsehole. The advisor might be giving the best advice possible. Keep clear, don't touch, walk away. But Starmer can't help himself and just ignoring the advice of the advisor. What do we think? Is it the advice wrong, or is Starmer so arrogant? Yeah, I'm going to go with arrogant. Yeah. Anyway, he's saying that, you got to walk away in that. So the trouble is, any sanction or action on Siddiq herself is going to come back and hit Starmer because of his intrinsic links to her. He can't avoid it. So if they turn around and say, oh, yeah, she was terrible, she was bad, oh, look at her, you're all very, very corrupt. And there's him embedded deeply within it. Now, she's obviously keeps denying any wrongdoing. Starmer keeps saying, we stand by her, although didn't send her to China. But if those denials prove to be untrue and she is linked to the corruption, that's going to come back on Starmer because he said that he is completely at their side and agrees with her and blah, 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 and all the other bollocks. His advisors must be pulling their hair out if they're telling him wise things and he's ignoring. Or they're just terrible advisors if he's doing what he's told. Let me know what you think. And I will say, do hit the subscribe button. This story's more and more to run. I'm probably going to be doing another story today and definitely another story on it tomorrow. So keep an eye out for another story later today and another story tomorrow. And by which time there's probably another story after that. Thanks a lot. Bye.